Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well. So I felt inspired to jump on and just share this video and talk about the power of the ego, the power of the mind. And I'm sharing everything from my own experience. So this is everything I do is really based on my own experience, and just it's on and I share it in the hope that it resonates with somebody or it will help somebody in their own journey. Because for myself, learning more about the mind and really getting some further insight into it and learn about other people's teachings is to go on YouTube. And that's what I'm doing here, is just paying it forward, if you will. So yeah, the power of the mind. So I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name's Saira. I'm a doula, healer, tarot reader. My business is called My High Priestess, and I can link them below with my offerings. I also am a health practitioner for a company called Synergy. So I offer purify 21-day purify programs, gut reset programs, etc. So yeah, I can link that all below. But let's I really want to get into the power of the mind, the ego, and you can refer to this with whatever resonates with you. But I call it the ego. You can call it the barking dog, you can call it the chatterbox, the monkey mind, but for me, I call it the ego. And what I've observed people calling it is edging God out. And to me, that really resonates what ego stands for, because really, when you're listening to the ego, you're not really being present. You're not being the observer. You're not being the witness of the thoughts. You're in the thoughts. You're in the narrative. So when you're in the present moment, you are not edging God out, right? So it 100% resonates with me, that statement, and that what it stands for. So, but yeah, I just wanted to share, because for me now, obviously, if people want to know about my journey, follow it and have a look and subscribe. And I post videos around my raw vegan journey. And now I have freed up a lot of space in the mind. I'm able to observe and be the observer a lot more than I ever have been. Before, I was just, the ego was driving my life. I was driving my day to day based on my subconscious beliefs, based on programs, and I wasn't very conscious. Like, people can go the whole day. It's like, well, one, have you actually taken a conscious breath? And I have to remind myself to do this. Have you actually, what part of your day was you actually conscious? So it's an ever evolving practice to keep reminding ourselves to do that. But for me, with the mind and the ego, it is really powerful. And when you get to a place where you have a lot more space because it's mind, body, soul, by detoxing your body and doing whatever modality works for you, whether it's meditation, whether it's breath work, whether it's journaling, even contemplation's amazing, whether you're on a juice fast, but you do gain more awareness and you do gain more clarity of mind. So you're able to be the witness of the thoughts coming in. So today I've had my daughter's party, and I've just had some free time. But in this free time, I've felt really called to share this, because I made this amazing healthy, and I did a vegan plant-based spread for a party, and I made this healthy oat cake, basically, no sugar, no flour. Oat based with dates for sweetening and bananas, and I used a cashew cream for the frosting, etc. And I don't taste any of this food, so everything that I did for my daughter, I don't taste it because it's cooked and I'm raw vegan. But I was with a friend and we were just and I was like, you're gonna have to tell me what this cake tastes like, because I have no idea, and it's different, like to most cakes, and I was like, does it taste good? And she's like, no, it tastes amazing. She's like, really, just try a bit. And I was like, oh no, I don't really taste it. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just try a little bit, because one, there's no sugar in it. There's nothing bad in it. There's no oil. Let me just try a bit. So why know for myself, which I should have just trusted. and just taken from what other people are saying that it's good. Why did I even need to have it? And to most people, they're going to be like, what are you on about? It's just a bit of cake, just have a bit of cake. But there's a reason why I'm saying this. So I had this little bit of cake. It wasn't a lot of cake, and I had a little bit. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's fine, it's great. Obviously, it's a little bit denser than normal cakes, but it's got flavour, it's got sweetness, all of that, so fine. And then I made these little banana cupcakes. And then what I started to notice, I didn't feel any brain fog come in because it was relatively healthy and it was organic and oats, etc. But what I did start to witness was I witnessed the thought form start to change. Now, I found this really interesting because it was not that I had a pain body experience from having a little bit of this oat cake. I noticed the thought forms change. Now, I have been working with this cake since last night and I haven't had one desire to try it, right? I had no desire. Even this morning, putting the strawberries on, I had no desire. But I had a choice and I made the choice to try the cake. And what then happened was, because I made that choice, I jumped to a different timeline. And maybe that timeline in that choice point, because we always have choices, in that moment, I went onto a timeline that wasn't in my highest vibration. It wasn't in my highest timeline. There's no judgment there at all. And I'm not saying it because I'm like, oh no, I had a bit of cake, it's bad. It's not about that. It's about the choice I made wasn't in my highest timeline. And that's okay because we have free will. We're allowed to make choices. But what then happened off the back of that is kind of like the cause and effect, was that the thought forms changed that was in my field. So I hadn't had any desire to have this cake, so the thought forms hadn't even come into my awareness or my field at all. Suddenly, I'm then getting thoughts coming into my field going, well, you've already had a bit of cake, so why don't you just have a little bit of this that's cooked? Or, oh, you've got off track now. This is the narrative that's then starting to play out in my mind that never even was there. I'm around all of this food. I've been cooking it. I've been prepping it. Not one thing has even entered my mind. I made these lovely like pizza pastry, vegan like, I don't know what they are, pastry things. And I was like gravitating to, what am I doing? Like, and then I caught myself, and then I started to really like be the witness and be the observer of these thoughts. And then I made these banana cupcakes, and I was like, oh my God. And I ended up having one. And then I was like, oh, and then I started to really, really notice the change in the thought forms coming in and what wanted to come into my field. And then I was just like, okay, this is really interesting. Like, every time we make a choice, this is where the ego will then create a narrative, and it will attach based on the thought forms that come into your field. So before, I had all of these different thoughts in my field, and the next minute I've jumped onto a different timeline based on a choice, and it's just a choice. I've got free will, and then I've got a different set of thoughts because of that vibration and that timeline I'm on that is now entering into my field. Then it will present another, so this is why it's so hilarious, then it will present another set of choices. Do I then continue to eat more of this? Because then it's a snowball effect. Okay, so I've had some of this banana cupcake. Okay, I had the okay. Oh, well, I might as well have that. I might as well have that. But then I was able to go, I haven't opened the door to anything else because I've really just stopped and been the witness of it. Gone, hang on a minute, I see where I'm going here. And sometimes we can be really unconscious of these behaviours or how we're acting out these situations or these stories based on the ego. And when you become really more self-aware, you start to really be the observer of your behaviours, your behaviours and your actions. So I was just like, oh my God, this is so interesting. And then I made the choice to say, no, I'm not going to go down that, even though there was moments where I was like, oh, yeah, I've kind of gone, no. And I was like, and then I didn't even open the door. So it's like kind of like you have all of these thoughts in your field, and then have you opened the door to a thought form that is then going to take you down a narrative and a path that then you make a choice to do something that again isn't in your highest timeline, and then it can be a snowball, and then your vibration can change, and then you just start to notice more different thoughts coming in that can send you on a different path. and the next minute you're, not that I would ever go and eat a pizza or anything like that, or you might just go, oh, I'm just going to eat things that are really, really off track, that I had no desire prior to the first point I made that decision to even try a taste of that oat cake. Now, there's no problem in me trying it. And to most people, they'll think, oh my God, what are you talking about? It's just a bit of cake. It's not about the cake. I just want to make that very clear. It's just, I'm expressing this and I'm sharing this because it just shows you the power of the mind. And when you become more aware, you start to witness how you can get manipulated, how you can be taken off center, and you can be moved onto a timeline that isn't in your highest good and best interest. So really, I just want to, share this because it might, and this could be anything that you're being presented in your life. Say that you've got a choice to, if you didn't want to have a drink of alcohol tonight, right? And then suddenly you decide to have a drink, and then you're like, and then what happens then is, oh God, you really didn't want to have that drink, but you've had a drink. Then you have another drink because now you're on that timeline. Okay, now you have another drink, and then you're on this real clean health plan, and you've been really good. Next minute you have a drink, and then another thought will come in because you're now a vibrational match to these thoughts coming in, and then another thought may come in going, oh, I'm going to get a takeaway, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to get a takeaway. I didn't really want to get a takeaway, and then another thought will come in. It's like, are you opening the door to these kind of thought forms that are coming in? You can call them a thought demon. Or are you going, no, I'm non-negotiable, I'm not even going there? Or it could be like, for example, a choice point where, okay, so you want to go to the gym, you've made the decision to go to the gym, you've got a choice point, right? And you go, a thought will come in and go, you don't need to go to the gym today, you've been busy. And you go, oh, I don't think I'm going to go to the gym today after all, I've been really busy, I'm knackered. And then you've entertained that, and the next minute you're like, oh, actually, yeah, okay, you know what? I'm just going to have a takeaway. I'm actually going to go out. Instead of going, non-negotiable, I'm not listening to that thought form and being aware of it and know what it's doing. And when you do that, you stay on track. And actually, those type of thoughts get less and less and less. I hope I'm making sense here, by the way. But I just found it really, really interesting to be the witness and the observer of the thoughts, because we have like so many thoughts a day, and it's interesting when you see how the thoughts are coming in to create a narrative to take you off track, and put you in a different timeline that is kind of where the ego is back in control again, because the ego thrives on being in control because that's its role, right? And that's not a bad thing, it just is. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because I found it really interesting to be the observer of. So if you can just really, when you're in that choice point, just really sit and contemplate, and if you make the choice and you realize it wasn't for your highest good, then watch the change that happens, the cause and effect. Watch how things start to play out, and you could be like, wow, look at all these different thoughts coming into my field now when there was no desire. It can take one thought and that's it. That thought has got you and it's taking you on a whole different path. But when you become the observer of that, you can go, non-negotiable. But I mean, for me, it was a little bit of cake, but it was just like, I've noticed how my field of thoughts, the vibration and the field is open to all different types of thoughts to come in. But you can change it by taking control and saying non-negotiable. And even if you go off track, you can stop it and not let yourself spiral even further. So I hope this has helped. Please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, have a blessed day, everybody.